Very good morning to you. A 19-year-old woman from Derbyshire who was found guilty of lying about being raped by a gang of Israeli youths in Napa has received a 4-month suspended sentence. A judge convicted the teenager of public mischief last week after she made the rape claim in the Cyprus party town last summer before withdrawing it 10 days later. She's since said that she was facing threats from police and insists that she was the victim of a horrific attack. After escaping any time in jail, she can now fly home later on today. Her lawyer spoke to reporters in the last few moments.
We would like to say on behalf of the whole combined team from Cyprus and the UK, on behalf of the family of this young girl, that we are firstly relieved that she's finally coming home. This has been an incredibly sad and tragic case for a young teenage girl from Derbyshire, a once happy and gregarious young girl who, like so many of her age group, came over to Cyprus with all the excitement of a young traveller and with high aspirations to attend university thereafter. She was actually on the cusp of embarking upon a new chapter in her life, but under the most dire circumstances she went overnight from being victim to being the accused, having to endure not only the dreadful physical violation of a premeditated gang rape and serious sexual assault perpetrated upon her, but also the prolonged mental ordeal under the judicial process in Cyprus. She was then accused of the offence of public mischief and that this was all a lie to the police. She is and remains adamant of her innocence and that she has told the truth. And whilst we welcome today the fact that the sentence imposed allows her to go home, we strongly contest the conviction, and the fight for her innocence will go on regardless. And I can tell you now that we will be appealing the conviction and we will be taking this case to the Supreme Court of Cyprus, and we are prepared to fight this case all the way to the European Court of Human Rights.
Are you happy with the support you've received from the UK?
We're delighted with the support we have received from the UK, and of course the sentence imposed by the judge today was one of 4 months imprisonment, suspended for 3 years, and we noted that he stated that he was giving her a second chance. But what we say, and we will maintain, is that this young girl was stripped both of her dignity and her basic human rights. She has been diagnosed with PTSD. The case has resulted in the deterioration of her mental health. In fact, there were real worries about how she could cope and carry on throughout the legal process. And with immense support given by her loving family, her good friends and legal team, and of course the widespread international support, we can see it here today, particularly from Israel and the women's rights movement in Cyprus, she has persevered. She cannot thank highly enough those people who have contributed, including John Hobbs, to her crowdfund, and for the kind messages of support and belief which have validated her truth. She has asked, in fact, that I thank everyone on her behalf. She wishes to thank her wonderful parents, the Foreign Office who have done so much within the last week, and her legal team, Michael Polak from Justice Abroad, myself, Lewis Power QC, Nicoletta Harilambidou and Ritza Pekri, who collectively have worked tirelessly in their pursuit of justice on her behalf. The time for her to return to her home, to the UK, is long overdue. She needs to be with her family, to be given the psychological help and treatment which has been denied to her thus far. Not only has she been incarcerated in Nicosia prison, but she's also been subjected to the most stringent of bail conditions. And we'd also like to thank Dr. Christine Tizard from the UK, who has assessed, diagnosed and prescribed her need for immediate treatment. What this case has specifically highlighted is a gaping chasm in the specialised treatment of sexually assaulted women, victims in Cyprus and the UK compared to foreign judiciaries. Clearly there has been, to this point in time, in fact still is, a deficit in the provision of care, protocol and safeguarding. And in this case we say there was a specific failure which led to a catastrophic situation with the victim finding herself as the accused, being denied access to appropriate legal and medical care. Indeed, a lawyer and a translator were not even provided whilst under interrogation. We also say that this case will have far-reaching repercussions for women travelling abroad, and it has highlighted the need for appropriate representation. This young woman has shown immense bravery, courage and fortitude in coming forward. Her identity has been compromised. She has been trolled viciously on social media and has been subjected to vile comments. Some of those who perpetrated the serious sexual assault returned to their homeland bragging triumphantly and unashamedly as to what they had done to her, compounding her trauma. There will be people who will bow their heads in shame in respect of this case, but not her. Finally, we as a civilised society cannot allow this blame the women victim culture to continue and let the perpetrators go unpunished. This, in fact, is the greatest injustice of all. Thank you very much.
Is outside the court in Cyprus for us now, joins us live, as you can see. Likely to come home later on today, this young lady.
Yeah, that's exactly what we expect to happen. She's already left the court already. In fact, while that statement was being made by Lewis Powell, QC, I understand the woman involved in this case actually drove out of the court area. As you can see, it is still somewhat chaotic here. The same road is used, as you can see, for police cars, for visitors, for court officials, for media, and it's been blocked by dozens and dozens of protesters over the course of this morning, many of whom have come from Israel to support the plight of this British woman. Notable, of course, because the woman that the group of men that she claims raped her in Napa were all Israeli youths. So the process that we now expect is that she will return to Britain. She has some paperwork to do. Her passport has to be returned to her. But because she has been given a suspended prison sentence, that means that she does not clearly have to go to jail here in Cyprus. She is free to leave the island, and she will be returning to Britain, I understand, for medical attention. Those around her say that she is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and also clearly from the huge emotional and mentally draining effects of this plight. She has spent weeks in a Cypriot prison and has also clearly been through this process of judicial hearings that culminated today with this suspended sentence. Her mother, who we won't identify, clearly we don't want to identify the woman involved, briefly appeared on the steps of the courthouse to thank all of those who had come to support her daughter. She will be returning home. Their ambition, of course, as you heard Lewis Powell saying, is to rebuild their life, although it is worth noting that he confirmed what we've been reporting for a while now, which is that they intend to appeal this conviction, a process that could take years and could end up at the European Court of Human Rights.